Back to our guided reading sessions, and today this is lesson 6. So far we have read chapter 1 of Cole's Kingdom, and if you remember, in chapter 1 Cole was up in his grandma's attic and he found a strange artifact, an old golden item, and when he touched the different jewels, he touched the blue one and the green one, he felt different emotions, and then suddenly a creature which looked a bit like a mouse but which could speak grabbed the artifact and ran away through a small hole in the bottom of the wall in the skirting board. So at this stage in the story, Cole has decided to follow that mouse and to see where it's gone. Chapter 2, The Seal of Furlin. Cole crouched next to the skirting board and peered through the hole. So the skirting board is the bit of wood around the bottom of the wall which connects with the floor. A dry heat blew from the darkness, making his eyes water. He had expected to see nothing but wooden beams and crumbling plaster, or else get splashed by the rain coming down hard from outside. However, as his vision cleared, so that means as he could see properly, he spied a long tunnel ending in a pale white light, and the mouse bounding into the distance. So the mouse running off, so there's a tunnel that goes through the bottom of the skirting board. Was there another room there? Without stopping to wonder how, Cole plunged first a finger, then a hand, then his whole body into the strange space that seemed to grow around him. The tunnel was cramped and smelled of damp earth, and Cole crawled like a caterpillar until he felt sunlight hitting his face. Determined to escape the narrow tunnel into whatever room lay behind the attic wall, he scrambled up the last few feet and pushed himself off the ground, breathing heavily. He looked around him, and what he saw made his jaw drop. So what he saw shocked him. If you're shocked, your jaw drops and your mouth opens. What? He was standing in a brittle, blackened forest. The ground was hard and cracked, and the trees were tall and bare. A scorching white sun blazed down over everything, baking rocks and plants alike, and Cole could see no buildings or people at all. So obviously this is very strange because Cole has gone through a hole in the wall and he's finding himself in a forest, in another place. So this seems to be magical. Shock and panic flooded through him. Staring in every direction, he forced himself to blink, but after reopening his eyes for the third time and seeing no change in the scenery, he was forced to accept that he really was standing outdoors in what seemed to be a very hot country, and Grandma Jenny's house was nowhere to be seen. The heat bit Cole's skin through his thin jumper and he started to sweat. Breathing hard, he whirled round to peer back through the tunnel, but saw that the hole from which he had emerged was now nothing more than a shadowy gap between the dry tree roots. Where was he? Where was Grandma Jenny's attic, and more importantly, how would he get back? Just as Cole began to feel a ball of fear welling up in his throat, a sudden eruption of dust disturbed the still air. Cole spun on the spot. Hey! The mouse was easily the size of a large cat. The mouse, which was easily the size of a large cat, was shaking the dust and dirt off its tunic behind a nearby tree. So the tunic, if you can see in the picture, the tunic is an old-fashioned kind of jacket that people wore. At Cole's words, it jumped and bounded off through the trees, kicking up miniature whirlwinds with each hop. Cole followed it in its wake, but his trainer slipped on the dusty ground. Wait, he yelled desperately, sprinting uphill as fast as he could. Come back. The mouse didn't slow. Please. Cole was panting already. Panting means you're out of breath and you can't breathe properly. The slope was steep, but the mouse bounded tirelessly upwards, clutching the strange golden disc with its tail. Cole felt powerless. Liam would have caught up with the mouse in the blink of an eye, so Liam's his brother, and Mara would have outsmarted the creature with a trap or a trick of her own. It was all that Cole could do to keep running and pleading. Please, I need you to tell me what's going on. The mouse glanced backwards. Leave this place, Elseworlder. This seal doesn't belong to you. Seal? Cole puffed, picturing an animal with long whiskers and a wet nose. So a seal can be an animal that lives in the sea, or it can be also something which stops stops a blockage as well, and we'll learn more about that as the story progresses. Okay, we're going to look at some comprehension questions now. There are 3 of them. These 3 questions are inference questions, and with inference questions you need to try and work out what is going on from clues. Many times in class I've given the example of a character who storms into a room, slams a door and throws themselves down in their chair with their arms folded. And the question would be, how do you think the character is feeling? And it would be angry. Now it doesn't say they're angry, it gives you clues. So that's what you need to do for these 3 questions. Let's take a look at the first one. So the extract says, please, Cole was panting already. The slope was steep. So the slope is the hill, and steep means that it's a tough hill to walk up. But the mouse bounded tirelessly upwards, clutching the strange golden disc with its tail. What does the word panting suggest in the above extract? So please, you're going to hit pause, you're going to write the date and this question, and then you're going to say what the word panting suggests. What does it tell you about what's going on? Press pause. Okay, so when you are panting, you are out of breath. You are very tired. So what you should say there is either Cole is running very hard and he is tired, or Cole is out of breath because he is chasing the mouse, or Cole is finding it difficult to keep up with the mouse. So you need to mention something about Cole being tired and having to work very hard to follow the mouse. Next one. I'll read the extract and then the question. Cole felt powerless. Liam would have caught up with the mouse in the blink of an eye. That means very quickly, in the blink of an eye. And Mara would have outsmarted the creature with a trap or a trick of her own. It was all that Cole could do to keep running and pleading, please, I need you to tell me what's going on. Read the extract above. What impression does it give about Cole's character? So, what does it make you think about Cole? What kind of person he is? Are there any clues there with some evidence that you can talk about what he's like as a person? Press pause. Okay, so it says there that Cole felt powerless and that Liam, his brother, would have caught up with the mouse in the blink of an eye, and Mara, his sister, would have outsmarted the creature. So what you could say is, Cole compares himself to his siblings, to his brother and sister, and does not think he is as good as them. Or you could say, Cole has got low self-confidence because he is comparing himself and he doesn't think that he's as fast as his brother or as clever as his sister. And when it says pleading, you could say that Cole is desperate to try and get some information from the mouse. Last question. The mouse glanced backwards, so it looked behind, towards Cole. Leave this place, Elseworlder. This seal doesn't belong to you. How would you describe the creature's attitude toward Cole? Press pause. Okay, so the creature's attitude towards Cole is unfriendly or angry because it's saying, leave this place, Elseworlder. The seal doesn't belong to you. So it's an unfriendly, mean attitude. So thank you for taking part in this lesson. If you are unsure about anything that you've seen or read today, please ask me. Thank you for taking part, and I will see you next time.